Hello, everyone. I would like to welcome you to our live talk show. This is October the 18th, 2021, and this is our Halloween special talk show since we're not going to be able to do a talk show closer to Halloween. This is our Halloween special for the year, so it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to talk about a lot of our investigations and go into a little bit of the history and origins of Halloween here later on in the show. But I'd like to welcome all of you here tonight. This is the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society live talk show, episode number 44. We're getting up there in number, guys. Pretty cool. So you can check our website out at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. If you have not been on there, definitely give it a look. You can email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com. If you have any type of paranormal activity you think you're experiencing or any type of location you'd like us to investigate, we do conduct investigations free of charge. And we will go anywhere in the United States, basically. We investigate mostly Illinois and Indiana, but we do investigations all over the U.S. if they appeal to us. Definitely send us an email at illinoishauntings@gmail.com or send us a message on our Facebook page if you're interested in us investigating your house, business, or other location for paranormal activity that may be occurring there. And you guys are watching from Facebook tonight. It's facebook.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. We also dual stream to YouTube. It's YouTube.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters. If you like the YouTube platform better, subscribe to our YouTube page and check it out. Sometimes you get better quality on YouTube just because they allow 1080, and I don't think Facebook does. So you do get a little better quality if you switch over to YouTube. And I think I can still answer you and all your questions on there. We have an Instagram page. It is Instagram.com/Crawford County Ghost Hunters or at Crawford County Ghost Hunters at Instagram. Our phone number, if you do want to contact us by phone or sign up for any of our tours or events tonight, I will flash that on the screen here later on again, but you can leave your name, number, and book a reservation for any of our haunted tours that we're going to be talking about that's coming up. And it is 1-312-572-9811. And it will go to the answering machine, so just leave a message and we'll get back with you as soon as possible. Music tonight, as always, by the Midnight Syndicate. All rights reserved, used with permission. You guys can check their website out at midnightsyndicate.com. So we're going to get into some cool stuff tonight. Going to talk about some of our investigations we've been doing. It's been a while since we've been on. I think, last talk show anyway. I got interrupted in the middle of that and had to leave, so that kind of sucked. But hopefully no interruptions tonight, and we are going to have a good talk show on here. I'm going to get into, like I say, some of the origin and history of Halloween. Halloween involving, paranormal occurrences and strange phenomena that may actually occur on that night. It's going to be a cool show if you guys like that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I just have this weird feeling I'm being watched in here tonight. I don't know what's going on, but maybe we'll find out later. Kind of strange feeling in here tonight with the lights off. And I am in my room with some of my haunted artifacts that I collect. So I don't know. It just feels like somebody's in here tonight. But yeah, I've got all kinds of haunted artifacts in this room from all over the United States. So I'd be surprised if I'm not being watched. But anyway, let's get back into what we're going to talk about a little tonight. The comments, let me see if I can get your comments up here. Looks like we've got a lot of people tuning in already. Got Deb, Jaden, Michael, Linda, Joshua, a lot of people out there right now. Can't see who all is watching unless you comment. So if you guys do comment, I'll definitely know you're out there. Where are y'all from tonight? Just to kind of see if you guys want to light up the comment section. Let me know where you guys are all tuning in from tonight, what state and city or country, or sometimes we have people from all over the world watching, but pretty cool. Looks like Courtney Bowen's on there and Jefferson, Indiana. That's cool, guys. But Anyway, we're going to talk about our haunted tours that we've got coming up too, and announce a really, really cool location that we're going to be investigating. We're going to let the cat out of the bag right here tonight, and see. We're going to see. Sorry, I lost my comments. There's some weird stuff going on tonight, but comments just went off my screen. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we're going to talk about our past investigations, our tours we've been doing, and some of the activity that's taken place on our haunted tours here recently at the United Methodist Village in Lawrenceville. We've got our haunted tours coming up this weekend. Well, some of you are on there. I definitely recommend that you go to the United Methodist Village haunted tours this year, because I don't want to say too much, not really my place, but we're having it on the, let me see here, be the 22nd is the United Methodist Village haunted tour we're going to be conducting. And then the 23rd, we're going to be at Pine Lawn Manor in Sumner, Illinois. So definitely recommend that you go to our United Methodist Village tours this year, because we are probably not going to have that building very long. I'm not going to, give any more details out than that, but this will probably be the first and last year you'll be able to do our haunted tours at the United Methodist Village, just because, there may be some changes coming up in the near future for the United Methodist Village or the UMV, there in Lawrenceville, Illinois. So it's kind of sad, but, maybe our only year we can investigate it, due to the current owners, allowing us in there. And like I say, there may be some things going on to where, we're not going to be able to investigate that after this year. So definitely check out United Methodist Village on our haunted tour schedule, guys, because it may be the first and only time, you can attend one of those tours. That's a cool building. I'm telling you, a lot of activity. And we're going to talk about some of the activity we did experience there on our tours. And if any of you are wondering why I'm sitting in the dark, it's just to give the creepy effect. But trying to do a Halloween special here, and I still feel like I'm being watched. But if anybody sees anything, let me know. But we're going to do our tours there. They're $20 a person. If you guys want to show up, definitely send us a message, because spots are limited due to, I hate to even say it, the COVID-19 word. We've got to limit spots. Definitely wear your mask if you want. You don't have to, not required. But parts of that building, there are there's parts that's pretty moldy of the village and Pine Lawn Manor. So if you guys attend our tours this coming weekend, definitely bring a mask if you're sensitive to mold or dust or anything like that. That way you won't come out of there coughing. But yeah, I was seeing what Deidre says. It's a beautiful place, especially the chapel. Yes, the chapel is beautiful in that building. I mean, even if you're not into ghosts and spirits or anything paranormal, just to maybe you worked there back in the day at the United Methodist Village, or I guess it's only been closed a couple years now, but it's went downhill pretty bad in 2 years. I mean, it's pretty crazy how fast that building has diminished. I mean, even the Holden Center was shut down in way longer ago, I think it was 2015, or longer than that. I'm getting my Pine Lawn dates, everything mixed up. But the old chapel and stuff, in the Holden Center, it's got some leaks and some water damage, but it was beautiful back in the day. But definitely check it out, guys. If you're bored this weekend, don't have anything to do, definitely sign up for our tours this weekend. We've got this weekend and the last weekend of October with our haunted tours. We're flip-flopping days is what we're doing on the weekends. Like this Friday is United Methodist Village, and then Saturday is Pine Lawn Manor. The week after that, which is Halloween weekend, we're doing Pine Lawn Manor on Friday and United Methodist Village on Saturday. So if people work one day or the other, and they can't make it one weekend, maybe they can have a chance to do that. And I should have had Kelsey on here, because I believe the 29th, which is Friday, the 29th tour, we're going to be at at Pine Lawn Manor, and she's going to do Kelsey. She's going to take a team, Kelsey Roth, Greentree. So reading their middle name there. Kelsey, Greentree, and Jake. The rest, a couple team members are going to be over at the United Methodist Village and start a scavenger hunt from there. And we're calling it Pick Your Poison. And that is on the night of the 29th. It's just advertised on our page. Kelsey just threw that up there earlier today for me. Thanks, Kelsey. And she may talk to you a little bit in the chat there about it if you guys are interested in it. But again, we're going to do a haunted scavenger hunt because a lot of people came to us and didn't realize we were having that and missed out on it. So we're doing a second one. You can either choose to do the scavenger hunt on the 29th or come to Pine Lawn Manor and do an investigation. It's $20 for a ticket to go to Pine Lawn all night, or it's $20 to enter the scavenger hunt. You can, like I say, the scavenger hunt starts at 8 p.m. and ends at midnight. And whoever wins the scavenger hunt takes half the cash. So all the money that's put into the scavenger hunt, you guys get half of that back if you win. And it's pretty cool. So definitely sign up for that if you guys are interested or want something cool to do, on the Halloween weekend. And Halloween night, I want to advertise that real fast too. We're doing something completely different than normal. It's totally out of the ordinary for us. We are doing a costume party / paranormal investigation, an after-hours paranormal investigation at the United Methodist Village. And we would like for you to come in costume, and you can buy tickets for that. We're going to have a DJ. We're going to have some games. Some of the games might be morbid. I'm not going to reveal any information, but if they come from my mind, they're probably going to be morbid. You don't want to know what runs through this mind at night. But anyway, we got some creepy games in store for you guys if you go to our costume party at the United Methodist Village. Come in costume. We're going to have prizes for the costume party. We're going to have the scariest costume, the most unique costume. We got a whole list of categories for the best costume. So definitely come in costume. It's going to be cool. We got a DJ coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have some creepy music playing, and some crazy games we're going to do inside the United Methodist Village, ghost hunting related, paranormal style games that are going to be pretty freaky, some of them. So some of you may not last through some of them, but you may just leave. But after that, we've got a after-hour paranormal investigation going on in the United Methodist Village. So you can buy a ticket. You can either come to the costume party, and the information's on our page, guys. Just scroll down through the posts, and it's under our events and schedule of events for 2021. Just click on that and read going down through there, because people aren't seeing that post. They're missing it because I'm not putting up individual flyers for all our events this year, and I need to. But scroll down, look at our schedule of events, click on it, scroll down. It tells about the costume party, the ticket price for it, and the after-hours paranormal investigation. And you can do both. You can do the costume party and then stay for the whole thing. And we continue the investigation on Halloween, which will end up being Halloween morning. We're going to go right into a paranormal investigation there at the village after the costume party. So that's going to be pretty cool. Then we might have some secret plans for Halloween night too, if I can stay awake long enough to do that. But after all that, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to stay awake long enough to do all this. But we may be investigating somewhere Halloween night too, if we can get a couple hours of sleep during Halloween during the day. I'm not going to reveal any of that yet, but yeah, that's our haunted tours and events we've got coming up, guys. And on our last paranormal investigation and haunted tour, we've had several haunted tours at the United Methodist Village now, where we've had some activity, but you got to stay into the early morning hours. And again, that's what happens at Pine Lawn Manor too. If you don't stay into the early morning hours, I'm talking like 3 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. We've been experiencing paranormal activity at those time frames. So it's been crazy. This haunted tour season just been absolutely weird. I mean, I've never seen so many weird things take place as what's taken place as far as like even people on our tours. I mean, I may have told you guys, some of you may have been on our haunted tours at the United Methodist Village, but we have had, I hate to even say this, but there's been a lot of crazy people on our tours this year. I've about kicked somebody out of our tours every night for some odd reason. For one reason or another, we tell the rules and we go in, no drinking, no smoking, no, we go over a big list of rules of what you're not supposed to do in there. And we have these infrared video cameras, IR video cameras stationed all over the village, which we're running right now. We have them set up still and we left them running for security purposes. So we are still watching the village, but people were coming to these tours and just doing just dumb stuff. One guy, did something inappropriately, I can't talk about it, in the dark. And we caught him on IR camera, had to, had an issue with that. Night 2, we had a lady come in and she was faking things. I may have told you guys about some of this, but she came in and was faking things, throwing pennies. We caught her on the IR cameras red-handed. Had to kick her out, and that's my pet peeve. If you fake something, you're out of there. Even my team members, if I catch a team member faking something, they are automatically kicked off and banned from my team for life. That is one of my pet peeves things. You fake something, you're gone. Even if you remotely try to look, even if it looks like you're faking something, you're gone. It's like, that's one of my things. But same way with people coming on my tours, if you try to fake things, throw things, intentionally scare people, and we're trying to get legitimate paranormal activity so people can experience real paranormal occurrences in these locations. And it kind of ruins it for everybody else if you got somebody in there joking around, throwing stuff. And anyway, we kicked this lady out. She's banned from all our events for life. And night 3, we had this lady come in with a backpack on. And she starts stealing stuff all over the place. And we catch her on camera. She was putting stuff in her backpack as she was going through the village and stealing things, pictures and all that. So we notified her and was going to notify the police. She ended up returning the stuff. And she's banned from our stuff. So it's been a crazy tour season already with just, I don't know, people being weird. I don't know if it's just people coming out of their closets from like COVID-19 and everybody's like COVID-19 zombies now or what, but I think everybody's been hiding in their houses too long. They don't know how to interact with the public. It's pretty weird, I'm telling you. Like last year, we had a bunch of people. We didn't have any problems at all, during the middle of all the crazy stuff going on. But yeah, we're still doing the tours. And like I said, if you do come, just be normal, guys. Don't do anything dumb where you're on camera the whole time. IR cameras that can see in the dark. So we just want to let that, people know that. But we're going to have some pretty neat tours and games at our costume party. I think if you guys do come to that, you're going to enjoy it because I've got some crazy ideas. But on one of our tours also that we had for the public, 3 of the people I put on my team now from Terre Haute, they were, the guys were sitting beside me and we were down probably, it was in the Auten Center. I think it was called room 181 is where we were at. And we heard some of the weirdest, distinguished, unexplainable, undebunkable knocks I have ever heard in my life. This happened about 5:07 a.m., I think. Yeah, Jalen's on here talking about it. But he's on here tonight. Should have had him as a co-host again, but didn't know what he was doing. But yeah, we were sitting there in the complete darkness. Nothing going on, complete silence. And I kept telling the ghosts or spirits, I said, please come into room 181. We're in room 181. We want to be your friend. We want to talk to you. Could you please come in here and talk to us? And nothing for a while. And you just got to imagine just being in complete darkness, complete silence. And, I say, come on in, knock if you come in to let us know you're here. And we sat there for about 10 seconds after I said that. Just boom, boom. I mean, 2 of the most distinguishable, unmistakable. I mean, it was just unbelievable knocks I've ever heard. It wasn't a fact of could that have been the building popping or, the building settling over time. Some buildings, when they heat up or get cold, they make noises or water pipes bang. Or this was just absolute unbelievable an unbelievable experience with these knocks. Like, and I do have the video on here tonight. Jalen had sent it to me, and I have downloaded it. So we were going audio, and the weird thing is he was using a video camera too, and I think that was the same night. He can tell you on the chat out there, but this happened on 3 different occasions. We heard like something almost banging coming in the door and knocking. He got that on video camera, and I'm going to tell you the weird stuff about that in a minute. But he got that on video camera, and then we heard the knocks go boom, boom, and then it happened a third time, boom, boom. You know, we got it on audio, pretty sure all 3 times. But the first event that he was videoing, he lost it on his video camera. I'm pretty sure that was the same night. He'll have to correct me if I'm wrong there. But he went back and couldn't find the event on his video camera after we watched it there. You know, because I was going to play it on here too, and he can no longer find that event taking place on his video camera. But we do have the audio when we were running. He was running audio on a recorder on his phone. Yeah, he says same night out of the chats there. But I'm going to try to play this for you guys. Now, don't laugh, because we were laughing at the team later because I finally found some people that beat me to saying, "Oh my God," quicker than what I can. So like, I think they may have beat me on the "Oh my God" screaming, but just, you got to take into consideration, we're sitting there in the dark, can't see anything, it's silent, and something just pounds on your door as loud as possible. And the audio from this doesn't give it any justice. As always, you know, it's coming through a computer. It's went through the recorder, uploaded, and all that. In person, you know, this was extremely, extremely loud. But I'm going to try to play that for you guys real quick so you can hear it. I'll play it a couple times if I can get to the file real quick so you guys can listen. But you'll hear the bang, bang, and then hear us like, oh my God, reacting to it. So here we go.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm going to play that one more time.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But yeah, we instantly react to it. And like I say, I think they beat me to the oh my gods this time. But I'm going to play it for you one more time just so you can hear. You can hear the pounding on the door. And this happened right on the door frame that we were sitting in room 181 in the Auten Center in the United Methodist Village. And this is undebunkable, guys. I had the video camera set up outside the room. I went back and watched the video footage of when this knock took place, exact time. No one was there. No one was in the hallway. It was just me and Jalen and his 2 brothers there. It was just the 4 of us sitting in the room. And it was the most incredible, distinguishable knocks I've ever heard. And better than these knocks were better than like the knocks at Pine Lawn Manor, in my opinion, just because they were so distinguishable. Like, it was actually somebody trying to like come in the room like they would knock. You know, we hear loud bangs and booms at Pine Lawn Manor, but it's not like boom, boom, like, you know, like a human hand knocking. So here they are one more time.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And you can see by our reactions, it kind of freaked us out a little. And yeah, Jalen said, I'm not skeptical after that. Because yeah, he was extremely skeptical. You know, that's why they came to us in the first place. You know, they were not experiencing any activity at some of these locations they were going to. And a lot of these places with urban legends, you know, they're just places made up to, you know, guys made them up back in their high school days to scare their girlfriend type of thing. You know, like the Spooklight Hill and Edna Collins Bridge. You know, there is some legitimate history behind those locations, but some of those places are just, you know, jokes as far as paranormal activity is concerned. I mean, it's more urban legends that have taken over, you know, some of the actual things that might have happened there. But you get a lot of people just trying to scare people and making things up over the years when you get into like these crybaby bridge stories. You know, every county and place seems to have a crybaby bridge. And a baby got thrown off the bridge back in the day, and you can hear it crying now. I think Crawford County's got like 2 crybaby bridges. You know, Jasper County's got a crybaby bridge. But there's these urban legends that, you know, kind of filter through different places and get spread out through all over that it's pretty much the same story as different locations. But, like some of the places like Edna Collins Bridge, Hell's Gate over by Brazil, Indiana is another location. And there's a real good place down here by Olney that's, highly debunkable. It was called Green Lantern Road. And there was a story of a Green Lantern that used to cross the road there back in the day. And if people would get scared, they would go out. It's near a cemetery over by Seven Hills Road down in Richland County. People would go down there and they would get the heck scared out of them by this green light that they would see swinging in this wooded area. This, looked like a lantern swinging. Come to find out, I investigated the heck out of it, never seen any lights, never seen anything paranormal down in that area. And I was talking to a local guy from the area that used to own one of the bars down there that went with us a lot. He owned, I'm not going to mention any names, but he owned a pretty famous, bar down in the Olney area, Richland County area. And he was telling me, well, he goes, I made that whole story up back in the day to scare my girlfriend. It just kind of stuck. And he said back when he was in high school, he credits himself with making up the whole story of Green Lantern Road and Olney and 7 Mile Road where this green, light is seen down there. So a lot of these urban legends, like I say, are just, people fabricating stories and making stuff up. But we're kind of talking about Halloween stuff tonight. And we're going to get into a little bit of the origins and history of Halloween here later. So kind of some, ghost stories that might or might not be true with fabrication of stuff over time. But trying to... I just read Joshua's comment. I'm not going to read that one online, but Facebook might ban me there, Josh. Jaden says, yes, I remember last year at Pine Lawn Manor, and those knocks weren't that bad, but the ones you showed are better. Yeah, he was, a lot of people have seen these, seen stuff happen at Pine Lawn Manor and had personal experiences there. And that's what's cool, too, about our tours. We've had a lot of skeptics come to Pine Lawn Manor and leave like just in total disbelief. That place defies all logic. I do not understand it. It's like physics does not, the normal rules and laws of physics do not apply in Pine Lawn Manor. I mean, you have teleportation of objects, you have quarters coming out of walls, you have marbles rolling out from underneath doors where there's a solid wall behind the door where there's no possible way a marble could be coming from there. You have marbles flying through the air, dice rolling out of nowhere. Say we've had balls dropped on China balls dropped on us. Better rephrase that. Well, I don't even know if China balls. I better totally just go off the subject there. But anyway, we had these little plastic balls fall on us, and I examined them, and we laughed our butt off because I looked at them, and they said "Made in China" on them. So the ghosts threw us little plastic balls that were made in China, and that's why I said even the ghosts are getting their stuff from China now. But it was pretty crazy. Amanda Roughton, when she was on the team, she had a ball placed in her hat. She had like a toboggan style hat on with it folded up, and she felt something, and it actually placed a ball in the rim of her hat without her knowing it. I mean, this is like a magician. I mean, this is like the craziest stuff you'll ever experience in your life. And we went back to Pine Lawn Manor, me and Courtney did the other night, just to see if anything was happening. Because we hadn't experienced anything since probably the beginning, last year around our Christmas event that we done there on December 26th, I think it was. We did a Christmas event for the public, and we got a golf ball thrown at us. I was sick that night, didn't get to see it, but everybody, the whole tour group, I guess, seen a golf ball materialize and fly out of nowhere at them. So that was pretty cool. I don't know if there's anybody on the live feed that was actually there to see that, to, testify that, that did happen. But we usually have some on there watching that were there. But it was just a strange place. And it quit like in January and February of 2021. We didn't experience any activity after that for a while. So, but yeah, it's going to be a cool place, I think, this year, because I'm trying to see if it's on some sort of a schedule or timeline. Maybe the activity has quit and then it's going to start up, again, like during the October, November, season. I don't know. It could be on some sort of weird timeline where it starts to increase in activity from, the end of September into December, possibly. Because if I remember right, the place was shut down close to the December time period. And we thought last year we'd maybe somehow made them cross over is why the activity quit, because we threw them a Christmas party and maybe that's what they were wanting. And no more activity. It was just strange how the activity just amped up, and continued to increase until Christmas pretty much. And then boom, nothing. But there's Karen. She's on there. She said she witnessed the golf ball. That's cool. Yeah, Karen Cat was on our tour last year. And like I say, if you guys went on any of the Pine Lawn tours last year, you witnessed something special. Because like I say, I don't know if it's going to happen this year. But me and Courtney went in there, and we had 2 marbles and 5 pennies appear, which is a good sign. That's why I'm getting excited, because we had a marble throw in the entryway, land in the entryway as we were leaving, because we said we would like to have a marble before we left, and they actually gave us one. It landed in the entryway there. And as we were looking at it, I looked over, and another one rolled and landed about a foot from it, just shortly beside it, just a foot space probably from where the other one was at. So it was like it was giving us 2 marbles as we were walking out, leaving for the night. And we also found 5 pennies on a chair, which we've later confirmed was a chair I was talking about and looking for in there the whole night. Didn't know where or which one it was for sure, because I wasn't reading the back of them. It was in the dark. But I always sat in a chair that had something about some nurses on the back of it. We were sitting there in the hallway in the dark. I was like, I can't find that chair anywhere. We were in group 3 hallway in the red hall. I can't find that chair. I kept looking in the back, and we thought maybe, the people that had tried to live there and taken it over and trashed the place had thrown it away. And lo and behold, as we walked out, I found 5 pennies on a chair. And it never dawned on me to look on the back of that chair until we came back the next night. And Courtney actually came up with the idea, well, maybe that was the nurse's chair, and they were trying to tell you that was the chair, because then they put pennies on it. And so we went and done our live feed, which you guys watch tonight. We looked and turned it around, and it actually was the nurse's chair. So lo and behold, that may have been what happened. They heard me talking about that chair, put the pennies on it, so I would notice that was the chair when I went by, because I was looking for it. So I'm saying these spirits and ghosts in Pine Lawn Manor are the most intelligent thing I've ever seen. We had guys, one of our team members, talking about me on a different wing, mention my name and say, throw something at Jason or Snyder, they said, I believe. And I was on the other end of the building, didn't hear him say that or anything. And I got a coin thrown at me. I got over the radio and said, hey, I just got something thrown at me. And they came over the radio and started laughing. He goes, yeah, we told them to throw it at you. And I was on the opposite end of the building. So like I say, they know who people are. They know they're intelligent. I don't know how they're doing this stuff, but cool place. We're going to, like I say, going to be there again this year, guys. So definitely sign up for that one too. But I still feel like I got something watching me back there. I don't know what's going on, but yeah. But yeah, we're going to get into some of what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the history and some of the origins and history of, Halloween and how it affects, paranormal activity. So I can get this work tonight. There we go. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, we're going to get into the history and origins of Halloween, and just some of the basics of it. Kind of where it all started from and everything. Halloween's basically like a big collection of kind of a patchwork of different cultures, religions, different rituals, ceremonies, and customs that have been passed down from, thousands of years. It's pretty crazy how it all kind of ended up in our modern day Halloween that's been pretty commercialized, now with the candy and the mask and everything. But you got to go back to the beginning, to basically understand the origins of Halloween and how it could affect us as paranormal investigators and affect our investigations and actually cause legitimate paranormal activity, because it's kind of weird. The farther back in time you go when it comes to religious history, and I know on previous shows I talked about getting into some religious stuff and paranormal stuff, and we may actually hit a little bit of that tonight. I'm not going to get into some major, things, but The farther back you go with religious history and ancient religions, some people think it was worse back then, but to me, it's been twisted over time. Like the farther back you go, the closer to the truth of some of these religions and to the origins of what they were actually trying to accomplish you get. Once you get, going into the future, like up into modern day, religions have been twisted. They've been added to. They've taken bits and pieces of certain things from other religions, made it their own. It's pretty weird. I mean, and really, the more you know, the more it'll freak you out. So I don't recommend really studying ancient religions if you're religious. And I'm not anyway. I want to put this out there too. Anything I say tonight, not trying to change anybody's beliefs, not trying to offend anyone by any religious talk that I may talk about involving the history of Halloween. I'm just going to, tell some of the origins of where it came from and everything. So if you're highly offended by that, you might want to turn the show off now. But we are going to get into, some of that stuff. But the original Halloween, basically stems from this word right here, and it's definitely not pronounced the way it's spelled. It's actually pronounced Samhain or Samhain. Some people pronounce it different ways. Some people pronounce it Samhain, but the most common way it's pronounced is Samhain. And this is a ancient Celtic festival that took place. It was representing they were going from harvest into winter, basically, the light part of the year into the dark part of the year. And it's representing the darker half of the year starting. So Samhain was, the ancient Celtic festival that was celebrated back then, where the pagans, it was basically pagans, they would light bonfires and, sacrifice animals. Sometimes there's some accounts of them sacrificing and throwing bones into the fire. Some scholars even believe that the term bonfire came from these bonfires that were held during Samhain back in the pagan Celtic festivals. And they would throw these animals into these fires, and sacrifice them to appease the gods or whatever they were worshiping back in the day. And they would also have these fires to ward off evil spirits. They would build the big bonfires in order to have protection. It wasn't all, like sacrifice, kill, that type of thing. These were somewhat normal reasons, because they were afraid of evil spirits and afraid, that they were going to come into their homes at night. So they would build these bonfires to protect themselves. And they would also dress up in animal skins and animal masks. Which you can see where this is going, toward our modern day Halloween. But, the festival of Samhain with the Celtic pagans was probably, some of the earliest documentation of what led to our modern day Halloween. And they believed, the Celtics, the pagans, they believed that, that's when the veil between this world and the next was at its thinnest. And that, these ghosts or spirits could cross over, during this time period. And there was different days that they worshiped, not really worshiped, but celebrated, with festivals and rituals. It was, Samhain was like just one of them. You had the summer and winter solstice, the spring and fall equinox, and then your in-between ones, so there's like 8 different ones that the pagan, the Celtic pagans pretty much celebrated back in the day. So they had a lot of stuff going on with weird, ritualistic practices where they were communicating or trying to even ward off the dead sometimes. There's a lot of controversy on whether they, were trying to have the dead come through or actually keep them out. That's one of the things too with these bonfires and the rituals that they done. There's some accounts that they would set like plates and food out for their dead ancestors, like make a table for their ancestors that have passed away. So, they were trying to communicate with the dead, but they believe that this time period of pretty much what falls on, our Halloween, which is October 31st, or our, November 1st area of Samhain, is the time of the year when the veil was thinnest and the dead could cross over. Problem is, they believe that evil things could cross over just as well as, anything else, or we could pass into their world or their dimension. That's kind of creepy to think about too. Like passing over into a spirit world ourselves. That's like Philadelphia experiment stuff where they did that experiment and all the guys went missing on the ship. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about that, but it could be a dimensional doorway or portal into another world. Kind of like the Bermuda Triangle. People believe that, there's been ships and planes that kind of go over and cross into this portal or this opening vortex, and they're never seen again. That's why some of the missing, people are never found in the Bermuda Triangle area. It could be something like this, only, we're talking about the time of year now. I guess the way things line up, there's a lot of stuff to it, and it's pretty cool if you go back and study, a lot of this with the pagans and the Celts and how they actually believe this stuff and where they got this information. That's what, how did they know this back then to the astronomical stuff they knew? It's just crazy, the stuff that they knew back in the day and actually accomplished. It's pretty weird. Some people think that, some of the Druids built Stonehenge, and that's been proven to be kind of a myth. But Stonehenge, was one of the places where they would go to do ceremonies also. But most of your Halloween origins come from, Ireland and Scotland. Later on, Scotland, where they were still practicing Samhain. It's like some people pronounce it different ways. Like I say, some people pronounce it Samhain. So that's where it gets into the Halloween thing too. But, so they started out pretty much with the Celts in Ireland, the Celtic traditions. And then it moved, to like even the Roman times. They had what was called Lamaria. And that was on the 13th of May. And this is pretty interesting because this is where Christianity and the Catholic Church starts to get involved into some of this stuff, with the Romans and Roman Emperor Constantine. That's where you get into some crazy stuff involving religion, because Christianity and Roman Emperor Constantine pretty much came in and adopted and stole a bunch of stuff from different, religions, especially the pagan beliefs of the ancient Celtics, that had these ceremonies long before Christianity. So, what's happening here on May 13th, which was it was actually on the 9th, the 11th, and the 13th of May. There was, like I say, a feast called Lemuria, and that was a Roman, basically pagan festival honoring the dead. They were scared that the dead that died a vengeful or, horrible death during the past year would come back to life during May 13th and haunt their homes. So that was a Roman deal that went on. And the Christian church always has a way, or the Catholic, Christian church, Roman Catholic, has a way of trying to snuff out older religions and beliefs, especially these pagan beliefs and festivals. And the weird thing is they sometimes they don't just like destroy them, they make them their own. That's what doesn't make sense to me. The Christian faith and religion has been so twisted over time with these pagan rituals that it's so intermingled with them that there's just a lot of stuff that's not true when it comes to Christianity, like Christmas and Easter. You get into Christmas and Easter and all that, and those are all, pagan rituals and religion, stuff that's been stolen over the years from other religions that predate Christianity by 2,000 years. So it's like you got a lot of stories that don't make sense. But when you get into the Halloween part of it, like I say, they had it on the 13th of May. The Roman pagans had that night called Lemuria. Well, the Catholic Church came in then and tried to snuff that out and turned it into All Saints Day. All Saints Day was originally, a Catholic Church thing where they were worshiping the saints and the martyrs and basically anyone they considered to be a saint or holy enough to get into what they considered their heaven. Well, then to kind of put the fire out on the ancient pagans, the Celtic pagans of the Irish, stuff we were talking about there in Ireland, they their stuff took place on October 31st. It's kind of hard to explain, guys. So, and they took the All Saints Day and put it on November 1st to try to diminish the ritualistic stuff that was going on by the pagans, the Celtic pagans. They tried to, put it on November 1st to kind of weed out, all the ceremonies that was going on there. They found out that they couldn't do that. So they started adopting a lot of the pagan beliefs into Christianity. And the All Saints Day, started to turn into, it was also called All Hallows, or All Hallows Eve was the night before this. All Saints Day, All Hallows Day, that was, the same thing pretty much on this November 1st. Well, then later on came All Souls Day, which came on November the 2nd. Now, All Souls Day, that was basically anybody that followed the Christian religion. That's what they were worshiping, the ghosts of, people pretty much that had passed away that followed their beliefs. Versus on All Saints Day, they were basically worshiping the dead saints. And they kind of tried to snuff out the Samhain rituals and festivals of the ancient pagans, but they adopted the same thing that they were doing and made it their own pretty much. So in a way, the Catholic Church saved Halloween and brought it to what we know, as today. They were still worshiping dead people. They're still celebrating the dead saints. They're still, on All Souls Day on November 2nd, they're celebrating dead Christians, basically. So they tried to take, they were trying to actually get rid of something and pretty much made it their own and did the same exact thing. It's kind of weird. But again, that's where some of the origins of Halloween start. The word Halloween comes from the All Hallows Day or All Hallows Eve, and then All Hallows Evening, they kind of threw in a mixture of that to make the Halloween word. So it's a lot of stuff that took place, where Christianity adopted, this stuff from the pagan rituals of the ancient Celtic religions and stuff that they do. So, but it comes into our modern day Halloween though, when the Irish immigrants come over here. There was a potato famine. I think it was around 1846. They started getting a lot of Irish immigrants into the area, and there was a lot of people that came here, with those old time beliefs that, didn't follow the Christian faith or the Christian religion that was forced upon them there. So, and Roman Emperor Constantine, he pretty much, he was a pagan himself, and he converted to Christianity and took all the pagan beliefs and put it into the Christian religion. So that's why we have Christmas on the wrong day. The Santa, there's a, I'll get into that probably in a different episode, but yeah, Christmas isn't actually Christmas. Bible scholars believe Jesus was actually born in the spring, not in December. That was actually a pagan holiday that Roman Emperor Constantine adopted and made his own. So, the Christian religion has been twisted over time with, a bunch of different religions brought into it to form what it is today. And the farther we get, from the beginning, the more twisted it gets, the more twisted the truth gets. So you can just imagine what's going on today. But Halloween came into, the United States with a lot of these Irish and Scottish immigrants coming into here and bringing their old time, rituals of, the face mask and everything. There is some accounts over in Europe too of people doing what was called souling, or they would ask for soul cakes in return for prayers for their loved ones and all this, which could have been some of the early form of trick-or-treating. Trick-or-treating, though, trick-or-treat is actually a newer word that came about, it's probably in recent times, probably the last 80 years or more. Trick-or-treat came about. That wasn't a word where, that they used really back in the ancient days. Trick-or-treating was something modernized by Americans pretty much. And Halloween's pretty much became an American holiday. There's not a lot of, countries that don't celebrate Halloween. But the story of like where some of this stuff comes from is pretty interesting too. We always carve pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween. A lot of people don't understand this and don't know this, but the original ones were actually made out of turnips. Because they didn't have pumpkins over there. The pumpkins is a North American thing, a Western Hemisphere thing. They didn't have that over there or have access to these big giant pumpkins. So once they came over here, they started carving pumpkins instead of the turnips. But the interesting story behind the pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern is pretty neat too. I mean, it comes from an Irish tale, a folklore tale called Jack of the Lantern or Stingy Jack. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, but the actual reason why we call him Jack-o'-lantern is because of this ancient Irish tale, pretty much is what people believe took place. There was a guy named Stingy Jack, and he was pretty much like the most evil person you'll ever meet. Yeah, he was a dark guy, dark soul, I guess you could call him, evil. He was he was stealing things. He was just a bad dude. He wouldn't help anybody. He was stingy with his money. He always wanted alcohol. He was getting drunk all the time. And the story goes, the devil found out about this guy. The devil heard about Stingy Jack. And he said, I want to meet this guy because, he's apparently meaner and darker and more evil than what he was, the devil thought, So what happens is Stingy Jack gets drunk one night and he's walking down this deserted road in the middle of nowhere. And he's walking down this road, there's woods on both sides of him. And he comes up on this black body laying in the middle of the road. He gets closer to it and it finally comes into view, and he realizes that it's like this grotesque corpse laying there. And when he gets up to it, the eyes turn and look at him and it starts to speak to him. And of course, Jack immediately knows that it's the devil trying to take him to hell. So he looks at him and he goes, I know who you are. You're the devil. And he goes, how'd you know? And he goes, well, I can pick you out, because this guy's evil himself, So this Stingy Jack has a conversation with the devil, and the devil says, I'm here to take your soul. You're going to hell tonight. And so Jack, the clever, mean guy he is, he says, well, if I'm going to hell, let's go back to the pub one more time and get a drink. And so he tricks the devil into coming with him to the pub one last time so they could get drinks before, he takes him down to hell. So they're sitting in the bar drinking, and they get drunk, the devil and Stingy Jack do. And it comes time to leave and pay for their stuff. And the Stingy Jack, the smart guy he is, he says, I don't have any money. He said, since you're taking me to hell, why don't you pay for my drinks tonight? Since you're going to be taking me down, dragging me down there. And the devil's like, okay. He goes, I guess I can. That makes sense. I can do that. And he goes, well, I don't have any money either. He looks at his pockets. So Stingy Jack said, well, I've got an idea. Why don't you turn into a silver coin, and I'll give the silver coin to the bartender. And then you can turn back into the devil and we'll both be okay. And he said, okay, I can do that, the devil said. So he turns into the silver coin, and Jack puts the silver coin in his pocket next to a crucifix that happens to be made out of silver, and traps the devil in his pocket. So Stingy Jack outsmarted the devil, and the devil was going to take him down, to hell, but he outsmarted him, and Jack said, well, if you give me 10 more years and I'll let you out and you can turn back into the devil. And he said, okay. He goes, I'll make a deal. He goes, I'll give you 10 more years. So he takes the coin out of his pocket, and the devil turns back into himself and goes back down to hell. Well, the 10 years goes by, Jack's still doing his bad things. He's drinking, he's gambling, he's, fighting with people. He's being this mean guy that he was, the whole time. on Halloween night, 2 years later, he's walking past this, spooky looking trail with woods beside it. He sees an apple tree up on the right. He sees something moving behind this apple tree. And he looks behind the apple tree, and lo and behold, there's the devil. He pops out, and he goes, "It's been 10 years, Jack. I'm here for your soul." And Jack said, "Well," he goes, "I guess you're right." He goes, "But I just want you to do one thing before you take me down to hell." And the devil said, "What's that?" And he goes, "Can you just pick me an apple off that tree right there so I can have something to eat?" And the devil said, "No, I'm not going to do that." And he said, "Please." He goes, if you pick that apple, you won't have to listen to my stomach growl all the way." He goes, "You want to listen to my stomach growl all the way, down to hell while we're taking that trip?" And he goes, "No, probably not." So the devil, knowing the consequences of wanting to listen to his stomach, goes up, picks the apple off the tree, starts to go up there, gets it. And Jack surrounds him with crosses as he's up in the tree, and the devil can't get down. So he's trapped up in the tree. So this is the second time Jack's outsmarted the devil. And the devil said, okay, what do you want? Because Jack's now trapped him up in this tree after, when he went to go get this apple. And he goes, "This time you got to promise me you'll never come for me, but, that you'll make a deal that you'll never take me to hell, and that, my soul will never go to hell." And the devil said, "Okay." He goes, "Just let me down out of this tree, and the deal's a deal." So he takes the crosses out, lets the devil down, and the devil goes down to hell with his tail tucked between his legs. And so it goes, he was probably 2 years later after that event happened, the story goes, he was walking around, he's still doing bad things. He's still being this old, drunken guy. And you can't escape death. Even if you make a deal with the devil, you can't escape death. Everybody dies. And that's what Stingy Jack didn't understand. So what happens now is, 2 years down the road, he ends up dying of natural causes from all of his drinking and, who knows what he was doing back in the day. He ends up dying, and he goes up to heaven. And God looks at him and he says, "You're not getting into heaven." He goes, "There's no way in hell you're getting into heaven." And God sends him back down to hell. So when he gets to hell, the devil's like waiting for him, real excited, waiting for Jack to get there. He said, "Hey, Jack, I've been waiting for you." And Jack said, "Yeah." He goes, "I know." He goes, "I finally died." He goes, "Let me into hell." And the devil said, "No, we made a deal. You can't go into hell." He said, "That was our deal, and I'm good at keeping deals." So the devil wouldn't let him into hell, and God won't let him into heaven. So what happened is the devil said, "Well, I'll give you this gift, and that's all you're going to get." He gave him a coal or ember to light his way into purgatory. Purgatory is a place in between heaven and hell, a place between this world and the next. And that's where Jack was banished to. He was banished to this world called purgatory, where every Halloween, he was said to have been seen, but he had this coal that he placed inside a turnip. He took the devil's ember and coal he gave him and placed it inside a hollow turnip, and people would report seeing Stingy Jack, which later became known as Jack of the Lantern or Jack-o'-lantern. And that's where our history of the Jack-o'-lantern came from. And there's still stories of Stingy Jack being seen on Halloween night because the veil is at its thinnest and he's leaving purgatory coming into our world. And that's where some of the history of the jack-o'-lantern comes from. And it's pretty kind of dark history of the jack-o'-lantern. And a lot of people carve these pumpkins every Halloween, these jack-o'-lanterns, and cut the top off of it and cut the eyes out. And they have no idea why they're doing it. They just think it's fun. But back in the day, this was actually an Irish tale that was told with the origins of, how the jack-o'-lantern story got started. So, but yeah, it started out as turnips, but ended up as the pumpkins would move to North America. So, but yeah, that's the story of Stingy Jack, which, like I say, was later known as Jack-o'-lantern. So, pretty cool history there, behind how that started. There's also some stories about how ghost lights were associated with Stingy Jack and Jack-o'-lantern, or Jack of the Lantern. People would see these ghost lights and swamp lights, the will-o'-wisp they called them, and they would see them in the swamps, which we now know are gas, being put off by decaying logs and different things. So there's a scientific explanation for these ghost lights that are seen in swamps, but people back in the day would blame it on, Jack. They would say he's out tonight. They would see the lights, and some people even followed these lights into the bogs and the swamps and got killed because they would go into these swampy areas where this ghost lights or these swamp gases were located, which is, a lot of times in swamps and boggy areas with quicksand, different muds and stuff. They would get sucked down and never come back, and they would go missing. And this is true stories, regarding the people following these ghost lights, thinking it was Jack of the Lantern or Jack-o'-lantern. So, there's some really cool history behind, Halloween and some of our things we celebrate that people don't even know about, even black cats, that goes clear back to Egyptian times. The hats that the witches wore, the pointed hats that witches wear, that's, a symbolism of the ancient Druid times and pagan times too, where country women would actually wear those hats, and they had cauldrons in the house. That's where the witch's cauldron comes from. That was one of the main things in their houses back in the day, was a cauldron. And these pointed hats were just a style of hat they wore back in the day, and it transitioned over into our modern Halloween times, and the witch's cauldron and the hat became, a symbolism of our modern day Halloween. But the ghosts, there's a lot of stuff involving ghosts and white sheets on Halloween that also has symbolism that goes way back. People often say, well, what's the ghost with a white sheet? Why do they have, why are they always dressed in a white sheet or portrayed with this sheet draped over them with eyes and a mouth and eyes cut out of the sheets? Well, that goes back to ancient times too, and older times, especially over in Europe and Britain and stuff. They would bury people in burial shrouds, white burial shrouds. And they started burying so many people in these white burial shrouds that they were seeing ghosts and people actually walking around in these burial shrouds, legitimate ghosts, because that's what people were being buried in. Just like today, if we bury everybody in a tuxedo and a dress, we might see a lot of ghosts or spirits in a tuxedo or dress. Well, this was what was going on back in the older days when they would bury, everybody in a white burial shroud. Whether you were poor or rich, they still put you in it. The rich got a coffin, and the poor did not get a coffin. They just buried them simply in the burial shroud in the ground. So there was a lot of reports over the years of people being seen in these white sheets, and that's where our white sheet ghost comes from, of the reports over the years. There was I think it was called the Hammersmith ghost in 1804. You guys got to look that story up. There was that's some of the legend of the white sheet too, is there was a case called the Hammersmith ghost. So it took place in 1804 in Hammersmith, London. It was a small town in London, England. And this guy, people were seeing this ghost all over town, like terrorizing people. And it scared a couple ladies so bad that one of them, in one account, it says this pregnant lady and an elderly lady was walking through the churchyard cemetery in Hammersmith, and something grabbed them, and it scared them so bad that they passed away 2 days later from fright, is the story. And there is some legitimate history behind this case that I'm talking about. But anyway, time goes on, and people are still being terrorized by the Hammersmith ghosts there in England and London. So they formed a party, what was called the Watchmen. They formed a party to go after this ghost that people were seeing terrorizing the town all over, because people were scared to death. And come to find out, one night this guy went out and he seen what was a white sheet moving around, and they had guns, the people who were hunting down the Hammersmith ghost. I believe his last name was Smith. I'll have to look into that, the guy who was hunting this guy down. And he ended up shooting a guy that was dressed in white because he was so scared of this ghost. The townspeople were so scared of the ghost, and they'd formed this search party. This other guy had happened to be going, he was a bricklayer by trade, and they wore white clothing. And he was actually heading to a job or something that he was doing. I don't know why he was going at night in this, but he looked like a white ghost. So he was shot by this guy by the last name of Smith. And he ended up, he got tried, and they convicted him of murder for shooting this guy because they said, even though it was a ghost, he thought it was a ghost, you still can't, shoot people like that. So they did pretty much convict him of murder, and I think he ended up getting off with something lesser of a charge. But the whole point behind this is, people were terrified of this white sheet back in the day. Where murders took place. This guy actually killed a guy that he thought was a ghost wearing a white sheet in Hammersmith, England, and the whole ironic thing behind it, after the trial was over and this guy was convicted of murder, the guy who originally did it, I believe his last name was Graham, he confessed to being the Hammersmith ghost, and he was going out into these cemeteries with a white sheet on, scaring these people. So it really was a human out there scaring people in a white sheet, terrorizing the neighborhood, and a guy got murdered over it. Because people were so scared of the symbolism of the white sheet and the ghosts back in the day. So that's a true story. You guys need to look it up. It's called the Hammersmith ghost case. It happened over there in England, London, England area. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff like happened. Try to read the comments. Shooting a ghost doesn't make sense. Ghosts already dead, Becky. That's true. Yeah, I thought about that too when I was reading the story, Becky. That why would you even try to shoot a ghost if it's really a ghost? But yeah, I ended up being flesh and blood, and the guy got in trouble for it. So there's a lot of history, behind our modern day Halloween. When Halloween got popular here in the United States too, like even like in the 1930s, I don't know if you guys knew this or not. 1933, I believe, was known as like a Black Halloween because it was so bad. The term trick or treat, came from the fact that it turned into a night of mischief back in like the 20s and 30s here in the United States. People would do bad things on Halloween, right before sunrise of November 1st and everything. They would take the wheels off of wagons and put them up on hay bales. They would take stuff and put them on people's houses. Halloween wasn't always this like secular holiday that they made it into and commercialized holiday. It was like the Purge. Like, you guys ever watch the movie The Purge? People would do bad things on Halloween to other people, and that's where trick or treat came on. Later on, they saw that it was going really the wrong direction. The whole, Halloween holiday was going in a bad direction. People were burning houses down. They were burning people. Like, people were getting killed on Halloween, like Eve and Halloween night stuff, because people were just doing bad things to each other. So they tried to commercialize it. They put out books even for kids that would, say, give us candy type of thing. Candy is pretty much what saved Halloween. It was going in this bad direction, and they commercialized it and started putting out ads and started putting out costumes and telling the kids to wear costumes and going up to the houses and get candy in return for, instead of doing harm to the people. So that's where the whole trick or treat thing kind of came from, because, if you didn't give them candy, you were going to get tricked, and that was an actual term that meant something back then. Nowadays the kids just go up to the house, they trick or treat, and if they don't get anything, they go in the car and they drive off. But back then, if you didn't give them candy, your house would get burned down. So you wanted to give the kids candy back then. So, but that candy pretty much saved Halloween, as far as, it tamed it down to where, I'm going to get a treat now, so I'm not going to do anything to these people. And over the years, the mischief part left Halloween. So you got rid of the mischief part, and it started to commercialize more into this money-making holiday, like most of our holidays have turned into, like Valentine's Day and Christmas. It's just a money-making deal where there's all kinds of costumes out and Halloween candy. And but all of the religious and ritual overtones and practices have pretty much been eliminated, and they've tried to make it a secular holiday to where it's a non-religious, non-ritualistic holiday now. And it has its origins in deep Celtic roots of pagan beliefs and religions, of where they actually thought the dead were going to come through the veil on Samhain, or October 31st and then November 1st. So there's a lot of stuff that goes way back, and it ties into paranormal investigating, paranormal research, because why did they believe that? Who told them that? Where did they get the idea that the veil was thinnest at that point? And is it? Is that the time when, we can communicate with the dead better than any other time of the year? Like I say, they were transitioning into their dark part of the year. So Samhain actually translates into summer's end. That's what it meant, was that summer's over, summer's ending. And I believe it's the Irish, it's still called that in the Irish calendar for November. I think it's Samhain, if I remember right. But so, you've got these ancient ideas and beliefs that carried on into modern times. And that's where, Halloween, a lot of these traditions come from. It's a lot of traditions, a lot of cultures, a lot of, the Christian religion, the Romans, the pagans, the Celtic pagans, they all put all of this together, like this patchwork of stuff that came together to form a modern day Halloween. And we look into, we've tried investigations on Halloween. I'm telling you what, talk about Pine Lawn Manor again, into Halloween night, into November 1st. It was one of the craziest nights in there. So there may be some truth to these, these ancient calendars and ancient festivals and rituals that they performed back in the day, that actually said that there was, something something going on there. I mean, why did they believe May 13th that the dead would come into your home? I mean, where did that come from? Just a lot of weird stuff, which was Lemuria, I talked about at the beginning. But that's pretty much, how, Halloween got mixed in with modern day times, and the ritualistic part of it with the pagans and the Celtics celebrating Halloween. Well, what we call Halloween now, they call it Samhain. Trying to read some of your comments here. But yeah, we're going to, speaking of Halloween, we're going to be investigating on Halloween. Going to be doing hopefully a double investigation on Halloween night. I'm not going to let out too much of the information right now, but it's going to be pretty cool. I think you guys will like it. But like I say, we always experiment on Halloween to see if any of this stuff is legit, to see if, communication is better during that time. And we found over the years that 3 days before and after a full moon has a weird effect on paranormal occurrences and activity. Halloween definitely had an effect on paranormal activity at Pine Lawn Manor. I've never seen it have any effect anywhere else, really. But Pine Lawn Manor was incredible on Halloween and into November 1st, like I say, which is All Saints Day, into All Souls Day, and November 2nd. But a lot of history and stuff, if you know what you're looking for in the rituals and stuff that was performed back in the day. Whether there's anything to it, I don't know. The veil is supposed to be at its thinnest during that point. I mean, that's the whole idea, behind Halloween and communication with the dead. Just like 3 a.m. is the witching hour. A lot of people believe 3 a.m. Is a good time to try to perform any type of ritual or magic. They called it back in the day. Magic wasn't spelled like our magic. It was with a K. It was like I guess a ritualistic type magic that they performed back in the day. But 3 a.m. is sometimes mocking the crucifixion hour of Christ, is why a lot of times, they say 3 a.m. is the witching hour. Supposedly got crucified at 3 p.m., I believe it was, and it's mocking the crucifixion of it and goes to 3 a.m. There's a lot of stuff involving the 3 a.m. hour, again, being, where the veil is the thinnest. And there is a time period, and there's some scientific stuff behind some of the morning hour paranormal activity that I've talked about before, because the barometric pressure is different during the morning hours. Barometric pressure, affects things. Geomagnetic fields affect paranormal activity. Everything from solar flares bombarding the Earth during geomagnetic storms, affect the geomagnetic field of the Earth basically, and cause an increase in paranormal activity sometimes. And it's sometimes due to energy fluctuations that these ghosts and spirits can draw off of, or actually use to manifest or communicate with us. So, there's a lot of scientific explanation behind, all these ancient things that were done way back when. Even, there's reasons for certain days of the year to be pointed out, and there's also reasons that the Catholic Church tried to snuff this stuff out and hide it. If the Catholic Church is trying to hide something, there's a reason for it. They don't want it entering into their religion. Of course, like I say, Roman Emperor Constantine pretty much added a bunch of stuff into the Christian religion from pagan beliefs, of just former pagan beliefs, because they couldn't appease everybody, so they adopted those beliefs into Christianity. But let's see here where we're at on the comments. But yeah, I can go into let's see where we're at on time. A lot more religion and the paranormal and near future shows, guys. I don't know how much I don't know all you're into that type of stuff or not, but like I say, I've studied ancient religions for years, and the more you study, like I say, the more you probably don't want to, because you figure out half the stuff you thought you knew was just a bunch of bull. It's kind of like when you figure out Santa Claus isn't real. You're told as a kid all your life that Santa Claus, is real, and you think, oh my gosh, he's real, he's coming down the chimney. We start studying religion, and you start figuring out that the Christian religion has basically stolen everything for the past 2,000 years and added it to it and made it its own. It's an eye-opening, awakening experience when you start to actually learn the history of where these things came from the Sumerian times up to the Egyptians, Isis and Osiris, Krishna. You've got the three main religions of Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. And anything outside that can basically considered a pagan religion. And a lot of these things are cults, including Christianity. Every religion pretty much is a cult. If you have more than one people getting together to worship a particular being, God, or entity, it is a cult. And, anything outside those three Abrahamic religions is basically a pagan type belief. So, I can get into this all night, but if you guys are interested in that and how it ties into paranormal occurrences and stuff, I can definitely go into another show regarding that. But I will definitely do some more on that. But trying to read all your comments here real quick. Some of you are saying would love it. So yeah, okay. Yeah, we may get into some more of that, guys. But I definitely wanted to let you know, we are going to do a show or a live feed on Halloween night, hopefully. So if you want to tune in on Halloween night, it's not going to be a show. It's going to be an investigation. So definitely check that out. Halloween night, going to do an investigation if you guys are bored and want to tune in on that. So definitely check that out. I'm not going to give away the hints of what exactly we're going to do, but it's going to be kind of cool. And I don't know why my comments aren't working tonight. I'm trying to read your comments. But anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching tonight. We will definitely be back on the air Halloween night for a live paranormal investigation. Definitely, like I say, come to our United Methodist Village tours this year. It's going to be, maybe the only time you can come, guys, because like I say, it's not my place to announce what's going to happen to the United Methodist Village, but we're probably not going to be investigating it or anybody investigating it after this year. So definitely try to hit that one this year. It's maybe the only 2 public events we have left for the United Methodist Village. Definitely try to check that out, guys, if you're can get over that way. But I will see you all on the next one. And like I say, I don't know. I felt like somebody was watching me all night, guys, but I don't know. I've got this candle. I'm going to see what I can find. Huh. You guys see anything?